Mr. B.J. Banks is here to entertain us and talk to us about songwriting. I've written a lot of poems, but I've never written a song. But I may get inspired after listening tonight, and he may get me to write a song somewhere down the road. All my songs are usually country songs, like Mama Fell Off the Train When I Got Drunk and driving my pickup truck and that kind of stuff. But BJ, I'm gonna let you go ahead and, you did tell me you were the sole founder of the Bartlett Songwriters Alliance, right?
Yes.
And do you have any other members besides yourself?
Oh, I have quite a few. I have, right now, we started out with about 6 songwriters about a year ago. And we were fortunate to talk with Tawny Walker over at Singleton Community Center. And she said, we'd be glad to bring in a group for songwriting. And the nice thing about that is we can sit there and we can play music and we can work on songs and teach people how to write music. If you've never written a song, has anybody ever written a song? Has anybody ever?
My mother has.
Do you want me to sit over there? Now the thing about songwriting, anybody can write a song. If you wrote a letter to someone, you've written a song. If you wrote a note to your family member, do something because I need to have it done, that's still, you can turn that into, you can turn anything into a song. But what I'm here to promote is songwriters of all ages, of all desires. If you've never written, come to our workshop. We have a workshop on the first Tuesday of every month at Singleton Community Center. It's 7 o'clock. You can go to bartlettsongwriters.com and you can always see that information. But the nice thing about songwriting is that you don't have to be any age. The song has no idea how old the person is or how young the person is.
Look up.
Look up. Is my hat away?
No, yeah, I think, and you don't have any eyes.
I don't have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that better?
She does
Yeah,
You're very comfortable.
Yeah, that looked good.
Okay.
But y'all like
But,
to just stretch out up here.
The thing about the Bartlett Songwriters is we're trying to develop a consciousness of songwriting and creative aspirations for the young people. I have a lot of older songwriters. I have about 23 people, aging from about 35 to 70, 72, I think it is. And they're all wonderful people. I'm teaching them the different processes. A little backstory on myself. I've been a songwriter and a singer and entertainer, recording artist for 35 years. I retired to raise my grandkids for the last 14 years because that was very important to make sure they had a home and a place and security. But now I'm back songwriting and I'm making sure that we have an opportunity to teach the next generation. The next generation doesn't mean age. It means you're the next new songwriter. I have seen many people in Nashville have a career in music when they started at 65 years old because they didn't know they could write songs, and they learned, they wrote songs and got them published. So if I can bring that consciousness to this community of Bartlett, we can pass on a generation of music, of culture, of creative process. And I think that's important, that we know how to bridge gaps, because music will bridge gaps between from young to old anytime. You know, we have a lot of kids look at me and go, "Oh, you're old, I can't talk to you." You know, and so what I have a record company working with me in tandem, a young man about 30 years old, and we're going to try to approach the high schools and all the schools and get them to come to the workshop so we can start developing these kids. And in the process of developing these kids, we're going to show them discipline because they're going to have fun doing it. It's a very hard task to get a young person focused more than a couple of minutes on something. But if they like it, they'll stay on that for hours, like a video game. We want to go way beyond, get them away from the video games. We want to get them to have a way to express themselves to, you know, I don't like this, and say it in a song. Don't get angry and fight, you know. Or if you have a way to express, I'm a loner, and how do you say that? You can't always, kids can't say that they're torn. And we need to show them, and that's what songwriters are doing. We're doing more than just writing songs. We're teaching them how to have a way to express themselves in a peaceful manner. We have enough violence in this world, and we don't have enough processes to create peace and thoughtful ways of thinking. So that is kind of my overall view about everything. I was looking at this wonderful dress here, and I'm going to be tuning my guitar while we do this. And I wrote a song, and I didn't think, well, should I bring my guitar? And I go, well, I am a songwriter. And Jack said, I'm glad you brought that guitar.
Right.
Now can you play it? And I can play a couple of notes on it. But this song, when I saw that, and I said, I got to do this song. It's a song I wrote about a Civil War bride. And she's standing in the front windows of a log cabin. And we've seen those pictures, those kind of things in movies and pictures, and I'm sure you have plenty of those around here somewhere. So, and Amelia is a older name, I guess we can say. But I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking about, living in this area, thinking, man, there's a lot of history in this particular part of the country. And I thought, first thing came to mind, you see country, you see the log cabins, and then I saw this in a vision. I saw actually kind of a mind's eye. I saw a lady standing in a white linen dress. And so let me do this, and then we'll have a little bit of discussion about things if you have any questions. It's called Amelia. She got a letter, didn't know if to laugh or to cry. It said, Amelia, you know that I'm coming home to see the stars dance in your eyes. Thoughts of your tenderness, the warmth of your smile is what kept me going when I was alone. Amelia, I love you coming home. Did that not represent that dress or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, I saw that already before I ever got here. But first of all, anybody have any questions about what I'm trying to do here in Bartlett?
What got you into songwriting?
Oh, I felt like I was born into it, but I wasn't. Young kid, 8 years old, and I took and got a little electric guitar, and my mom actually bribed me all the time with food and things to stop because it was horrible. And she goes, and I'd sit and play that 2 or 3 notes and banging on. It's awful. And she goes, I love you, son, but let me feed you something so you'll stop. And I played and played, and then I started playing professionally when I was 12 years old, and then local bands and all that stuff. And then I started working out of Nashville for about 15 years, and I had a 1995, I guess it's been a while, but 1995 I had a hit single, and I had vocalist of the year and album of the year, and I worked with a lot of people out there, and I loved what I did. And I did it for years, and I traveled all over the country. I've opened up for George Jones and Charlie Daniels, and I've been in major recording studios, the same studios as Vince Gill and Alan Jackson, and worked with the same kind of musicians that work with those kind of people. And it was a wonderful career. I loved every minute of it. But my family, I had troubles with my family. The kids, they fall off the deep end, and it was more important for my family to be taken care of than me continue down my musical career and travel and not rescue my son. So I decided I would pull back on the music and take care of my son. My family is important. That's why community is important. I'm doing the songwriters to build community, to build trust amongst each other. And that's pretty much that wraps it up. I've done, like I said, I've cut about 7 singles on the radio, and I've made about 4 albums. And that was before the internet, so it's really hard to find me now. But now I'm back, and I'm teaching people to put their music on the internet, and we're taking them to the recording studios. And if you want to learn to write a song, you can come to these workshops, and we'll pair you up with someone, or we'll use your lyrics as a project to say, all right, here's some lyrics. Let's make it a project for next month, and everybody has their interpretation of it. So if you have poetry and you want to show up, say, I got this song. It could be a song, I'm not sure. You can lay it down there, and we'll look at it and figure, and we'll post it on our webpage, and everybody will have the lyrics, and a few of us show up with some kind of song. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. So, any questions on that? Anything else that you want to know about songwriting or myself?
You mentioned the high school kids.
Thank you.
I'd like to hear a little more about how specifically you are going to get them to do what you want them to
Good
do.
question. I've done interviews with people, and I always like to say, good question. They would say that. It gives me a moment to figure it out.
I've never done that.
Oh, yeah. But the high school kids, they need an opportunity to be able to express themselves. They need to know that, and this is why I brought in a record label. He's a bona fide record label engineer, producer, works out of Arden Studios, has his own. And we're using him as, I call him our poster child to talk to the kids, because I get up there and they're going, oh, we can hear you talking, but we don't know what you're saying. But we're going to go to the schools and let them know about the workshops. Because what we're going to give to the kids for the workshops, we have a whole list of things. First thing, we're going to teach them how to write a song if they've never written. If they've written a song, we'll sit and we'll help them produce the song to where it's fine-tuned and it has all the pieces that makes it really much better song. Then we're gonna take them to the recording studio. I have a demo studio, and then I have the record label with their recording studio. Then we're going to, after we produce them, then we give them a free singles demo. Then we're going to teach them, there's a software program called Pro Tools. I don't know if anybody has heard of this. The music industry standard software where you put it onto the computer, but it's interfaced through the computer. But the software is really high tech. And I'm sure a lot of kids that are into music have heard of it and maybe not have the money. It's very expensive to have. But we're going to give them certification, a basic certification in how to use that software for their music. And we're giving them so much opportunity, and we're going to teach them to be able to perform on stage. If they have difficulty to perform, we're going to cover any aspect of whatever they want to do with music, because they already have the ones that really want to do their music, the shy ones, the ones that need to express themselves, the ones that are not always on the football team, that kind of thing. Because those
Well,
people,
Who's gonna pay for this?
this is all free.
I know. So,
I'm doing it out
there's
of,
no cost to it.
there is no, that's a good question. There is no cost, because I feel if I can build a stronger student through music, and the disciplines through music, I am literally, when I work on a song, I work on maybe one or two single notes or a word that doesn't sound right. I haven't said it right or emphasized it right or used the dynamics. I mean, by those disciplines, they're not even realizing they're disciplining themselves. They're engaging themselves without thinking about, oh, this is a lot of work. But they can use that discipline in other aspects of their life. So it will lead on. But all of this is free. The workshop is free. They have to go to the workshop for 1 or 2 months and see if they're doing this. Then we'll bring them into the studio, teach, and we'll set up a schedule to start teaching them. I have people that are certified teachers in this software program. And that way, they'll have the ability to say, I have tools at my access to be successful. We need to give them tools. Remember when your dad had the toolboxes? Here, go build something. And I'll show you how to use those tools. These kids have musical expression like nobody's business. I don't really understand all the rap stuff and the really super power, heavy metal things. But that's their expression. But if we can show them how to channel that, I've done something for my community, and the people that work with me have done something for our community that will build a stronger community. I always go back to my main thing, that I'm going to build a stronger community in the city that I love being in, which is Bartlett. So all of the things we're doing is no cost to them. If they get down the road and they say, I'm pretty serious about this. Well, what do I do when I want to go more serious and I'm involving them and their family and etc.? Well, we will, if they're interested in doing it on a professional level, we will give them as rock bottom prices for studio time, and I will still give them free mentoring through the whole thing. Because I've been in the music industry a long time, and I've seen so many people have a difficult time with, man, it costs so much money and nobody tells me nothing unless I pay for that little bit of information and the next information, and you've spent tens of thousands of dollars and you've got a CD and a nice photo and you're really not sure what you're doing next. I want to give them an opportunity and a platform to feel like they can be successful. I don't feel that, I see a lot of kids don't feel that they have that. We need to give back. I need to give back. Our community needs to build the next generation of people that have trust. And in the songs, I will emphasize to them about their lyrics. Are you saying something important, or are you just saying something to be heard? Sometimes just to be heard is okay, but to show them more depth into their music, that to me is vital, because I've lived and breathed this guitar and singing my whole life, and I want to be able to share that. that's pretty much wraps up everything that I want to do in this city. But is there any more question on the call? Yes?
How do you come up with the tunes? That seems like that would be the hardest part.
That is probably the easiest part for me. I have recordings of probably 100 melodies that I haven't listened to in a long time, but it's something. I've been in band in high school, and I played clarinet and bassoon and flute and saxophone, and music was something, always listening to melodies. It was something that I had, Elton John and Bernie Taupin, I think his name is, they were Elton John had melodies but no words. And this other guy had the lyrics. And he just had melody after melody, and they blended it all together. And if I can create that and show them how to develop, there's techniques to develop melody. And I know how to demonstrate that to them. And there was any other questions on things? Yes, ma'am.
Do you live in Bartlett, and how long have you lived here?
Get into the roots of things. I do live in Bartlett. Yes, I do. I moved here specifically to raise my grandkids. I've been here for about 3 years.
Okay.
And I've been wanting to move, and I had to wait for the right house, because I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old going on who knows what age.
My sympathy.
And I've been raising them for 14 years, but I think, and of all the places I look in all the schools, because I did my research, that Bartlett Schools has a very strong academic standing
Yes.
in the whole state, and I am very proud to have my kids in there.
Good.
You know, I have custody of my kids, and I am a parent again, unfortunately. Fortunately as well. The fact that living in Bartlett I moved here specifically for my kids to live in a safe neighborhood, a community-minded safe neighborhood. We have a community watch in our neighborhood, which is wonderful.
Good.
Any other questions that come to mind or statements? So, how many people think they would ever want to write a song? Have you ever thought about writing a song?
Don't be shy, people, come on.
My mother is 96 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and she writes poetry. She's been writing poetry a lot through her whole life. And she wrote a song, a Christmas song,
Mm-hmm.
and she put music to it. She's been singing her whole life too.
Mm-hmm.
She is almost deaf now, so music is distorted. She can't hear it like it's supposed to sound. But she would love to have that published, but I think she would really like it if she could bring it to your group, and maybe they could put another tune to it or something.
Well, I'll do this for you. I will personally, be in a group, and I'll come, at her convenience, her house or here or somewhere that you feel comfortable, we all sit down, and I'll sit down and look at it and come up with a plan for it.
Okay, that would be great. She would love that.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to do with the kids is we have a distribution business through the record label, so when they get serious, wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't our hearts get really full if we found those diamonds in the rough, those little shining stars that emerge out of the high school? That here's this girl that just sings another Jackie Evancho or a new Emmylou Harris, that they're there, but they're so shy and so not sure of themselves. If we could find that through digging through the dirt, we'll find those that want to come to rise to the occasion. They just need somebody that will encourage them with the right kind of encouragement and a clear vision of what they want, not what I want, but what they want. Some kids, I just want to be in a local band, or I just want to sing a couple of tunes. But I want to be a star. I want to be on America's Got Talent, And that's the thing. I have my publisher in Nashville. She said, if you have someone, a young person, because the industry is always looking for young. If you have a young person that's wanting to really truly develop and they have really unbelievable talent, please talk to me about it and we'll see what we can do. So I already have an avenue that I could start introducing them into the business and try to protect them as much as possible. Because we have those stars over there. We have the next great guitar player over there. We have the next great composer over there. And they're just waiting for somebody to notice them. So if you have family members, if you have, like I said, age has nothing to do with being a new songwriter. You know, your mom's 95. She's a songwriter. So it didn't say, I wrote this song and I'm 95. You don't put that on the title of the song. I wrote this song because it meant something to me. Just like I wrote Amelia, it meant something to me.
I have a question. Are your grandchildren songwriters?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. My grandson was, and I'm a little disappointed in him, but it's his choice. He was first chair violinist over at Bartlett, and he just lost interest. But he was an exceptional player. And I'm going to be tuning this one more time. But my granddaughter, on the other hand, she doesn't do melodies real well, and she plays no instrument, but she writes lyrics. And I actually have an avenue for this particular song that I'm going to sing you. And it's called Me, which is, yeah, who writes a song that says me? But if once you hear that, but I have a potential, no guarantee, a potential to put this in the hands of Adele. And I know, I mean, I was quite flabbergasted that I have an avenue to be able to put it directly into her hands. We haven't been to the studio. I did it in my small studio, but I have to go to a bigger studio with better quality equipment. But this is called Me, and this inspires me to no end. I'm performing this at our Songwriters Showcase this coming Saturday. I throw 2 showcases a year for my songwriters, all free. Everything is free for the young lady in the back. Says, "Does it cost anything?" No. I have 2 songwriter showcases, one in the spring and one in the fall, and this one is coming October 14th. It's going to be at Midtown Crossing. Once I can get it here in a place to do it in Bartlett, we'll start doing it here in Bartlett. It's a lot closer to home, of course. But I'm doing it to help support that particular club. It's smoke-free, it's family-friendly, it serves pizza, small little room, seats about 40, 50 people. But I'm doing that so they have my appreciation to my songwriters. I bring in a 4-piece band. I play the lead guitar, I have a bass guitar player, a drummer, and another guitar player. And we learn every single song that's in the show. And the band stays on stage, and each songwriter gets up, does their song, and gets off, and we do that. And it's my appreciation to the people that continually come to the workshop. But this song, my granddaughter is very prolific, so hopefully I won't get all teary-eyed on you. I'll try not to. But if you get teary-eyed, I understand. You don't know my story, you don't know my past, and all I've been through. Judging a book by its cover doesn't describe me, but it says a lot about you. And as I walk this earth, I know I am my own person. No one to tell me who to be. I am defined by who I am inside. People say thoughtless things about me because they don't know, cause they can't see the real me that's deep inside, the one I've tried to hide. Always wanted to be, now I can see, no one can take that away from me. And as I walk this earth, I know I am my own person. No one to tell me who to be. I am defined by who I am inside. I am defined by who I am inside. That is our next generation from a 15-year-old girl.
Wow.
That is, I've heard a lot of songs and I have judged a lot of songs, and that is amazing. Not just because she's my granddaughter.
Had nothing to do with it.
No, I'm not biased at all.
How old is she?
She's 15,
Wow.
and she has been writing songs since she was 8. She wrote a song about a dying flower, saying that she sang farewell to a dying flower and how wonderful it was to know it. I mean, those are the kinds of things that kids are writing. And I need to be able to have that opportunity to put this young recording company, his name is Jason Gillespie, and to put Jason in front of these kids. And we have an exceptional guitar player from our studio that will come and help present it. But to put these guys in front of these kids, to get them inspired to want to start doing songwriting and wanting to start figuring out what is because they are there. A lot of them want to be lawyers and nurses and doctors and police, but there are, as a group of them, that want to be these creative artists. We owe that to our next generation.
But they could still have a career and write songs too.
Yes, of course. That's what I was telling my granddaughter about that. I said, what if Adele gets, she goes, I would get all that money, and of course that's one of the big things that Adele saying, well, I go, yes, honey, you can get that royalties. And for the kids to understand, that's another good concept that kind of brought out of this, is they don't understand the business end of it. And how does royalties work? How does publishing work? How does producing a song, what are the steps? What is the correct process to get it all to where it needs to be successful? I had the wonderful opportunity to do that. This record label has the opportunity to help me guide them in the path they want to go in. So our grandkids and our great need to have that ability, that I started in Bartlett. Jeez. Wouldn't it be cool to have one of our kids on America's Got Talent in the finals, even if they made it to the very last or not, but great if they made it, but something to cheer our city on, to say, yeah, look, we've got this in our town. We have a twinkle in our eye because, man, I can be proud. I mean, we're proud of this town, of course. Of the Historical Society, of what I've shortened this, how wonderful you've kept this up. But we also need to keep up that next generation. How do we make this Historical Society be interesting to the kids? Does anyone have an answer for that?
Irrelevant, perhaps.
Uh-huh.
Irrelevant.
Relevant, yeah. But what what are the threads that tie them, their interest?
We used to have a teacher over at the high school who would bring for her hour, I forgot her name,
Miss Walton.
Walton, and would bring, they would walk over here
Yeah.
and we would tour them through, this was during the school hours.
Uh-huh.
We would tour the museum with them, tell them something about Bartlett. And they really seemed to enjoy it, and of course, they don't do that anymore.
Well, they also get a chance to get out of class too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here's the first perk, I get out of class. But with the songwriting, I have some extremely prolific songwriters in my group that if these kids come over here and they say, you know, what if you wrote a song about this? Pick things out that are interesting to you, not to me or to us, but to them. Write a song about this, and we'll produce it for you, and it gives them a sense of pride. It gives them a sense of ownership to this town. And regardless if they ever did anything with that song at any, in the future, the fact that, yeah, when I was a kid, I wrote this song from my hometown in Bartlett, and they played it for their family. That's carrying the generation on, and the passion for music. And it's a simple way, because music transcends everything. You don't know the person. I know a lot of people that have written songs that are for famous people, and they're just normal folks like us, and they sit at home and have their families and do their day-to-day life. But you don't know, I know guys that are 70-some years old that have written songs for major artists, and then there's also the young people that have written. What if we gave them opportunity to write songs about this? It ties them into this without them feeling obligated. And they get a chance to express themselves, they get a chance to integrate themselves into the history of Bartlett. And it's all a natural process. The one thing that I do in my songwriting workshop is to constantly emphasize the organic growing process of things. If it grows well and you keep the weeds out of the garden, you have a really nice plant or a vegetable, etc. And to teach them how to organically grow it themselves with the right nutrients. So we could write a song about this place. We could write a song for any of the organizations in Bartlett and have the kids say, here's a challenge for you. You get to go in the recording studio, you get to write, you get to play music, you get to hang out with your friends and some cool younger people. Just write a song about this. See what you come up with. Because there's kids that we don't know about that can sit down and write song after song after song after song. And they may not all be good, but the fact that we're stimulating their sense of writing. And then through that organic process, they're absorbing the history of Bartlett. They're absorbing community, the sense of community. So I guess I'm a little redundant on about community, but I feel that it's such a strong thing that we need to do. Does that make sense?
Pretty much.
So
Any other questions?
have I covered enough ground?
Just one real quick one. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Oh, many places. Where did I grow up? Life made me grow up a lot of places. I actually was born in Virginia,
Okay.
and my mom and dad are from Kentucky and Tennessee, over in the east part of it, in Whitesburg, Kentucky. My dad was a coal miner all his life. I never thought I would tell people, yeah, I'm the son of a coal miner. It sounds like a song, but it's not. But yeah, he was a coal miner all his life. And
Wow.
he was one of 12 kids. My mom was one of 12 kids. He had to go to work in a coal mine when he was 8 years old.
Wow.
My mom had to quit school to help take care of the family when she was 10 years old. And they grew up to teach themselves to read and write and raised a family of 4 kids. And it was a great family.
What part of East Tennessee was your mom from?
Over by Knoxville.
Well, in the hill country or?
Over by Cove Lake, if you know where Cove Lake is.
No?
But it's somewhere over by Knox. It's been such a long time.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was raised up in Chicago, up in Indiana for a while, and then I moved back to Nashville. And then my music took me all over the country, and then I lived in California, and I worked up in Detroit, and so I mean I've worked all over the United States and played music just about everywhere. And like I said, I've opened for big shows. I've played little honky tonks. Started as a kid, played at VFWs, and I'd play with my band in a garage if somebody wanted to listen to me, you know, and open the door. Not many people listen at that point.
Very good. Okay.
So the Bartlett Songwriters, go ahead, you can say.
The Bartlett Songwriters Alliance. And if you know somebody that's musically inclined, put them in touch with BJ and his group.